culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into Good morning, sunshine. How is everybody doing on this fine Thursday? Once again, I truly do feel like the weeks just keep on escaping me. It always feels like you look up and it's already Thursday or Friday or something like that. Guess what I'm doing tonight? Give me 1 second because I'm actually going to dig it up. I'm actually so freaking excited about it. I'm hosting a game night at my place, and tonight my friends are coming over to play the escape game from La Casa de Papel. We're big fans of the Netflix show, and we're really big fans of just like board games in general. And so that's something that we're going to be doing to pass the time tonight. So once I finish this stream for you guys, I'm setting up my cushion so I can sit down. Once I finish setting up this or like streaming with you guys, what are we going to do? I'm going to go to the grocery store, find some cool little finger food so that I could put together a nice little dinner for us. Then we're going to play the game and have a really good time, So Jessica, it is nice to see you. Ramster, Theo, Ronnie, Monica's back. Venetia, Shemjem, DM. It is so nice to see y'all here. We've got another Canadian. Oh, you know me from when I lived in Canada. That's awesome. I love my long-time viewers. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy to even think. Sometimes my old videos from when I was in my downtown Ottawa condo, sometimes they pop up and I can't help but go oh my God, I was so young back then. I thought I knew it all, but I was so young. It's so crazy to see. Hi, Otto. Good morning, Grace. Love this channel so much. It feels like I'm hanging out with someone when I'm doing chores and such. Thank you. I love to hear it. Thank you. And Theo, I completely agree. Sometimes you just want to do something laid back, chill with your friends inside, and this is so the thing. Another thing that we're going to do that's really interesting, and sometimes you guys ask me, what are some cool things to do in Paris? And that is something that I'm going to be working on for you guys, which is a list of activities and restaurants and cool things that I love and places that I love here. And one thing that I'm going to be testing out next week with one of my friends is a bubble tea cafe where you can paint ceramics and bring them home. And I just thought that's such a cool, cute little concept. And I'm really excited to go see how all of that blends together. So we've got an awful lot to discuss in today's morning report, you guys. We're back with another Diddy story. And I've got to say, I'm proud of myself because it has been a long while since we've spoken about him. Yes, there have been other little news pieces that came out, but I said, listen, at this point, I'm burnt out with all the lawsuits. I just want to focus on really major things. So yes, this is a lawsuit, but it's a lawsuit coming from P. Diddy himself. We're also going to talk about Wendy Williams exposing her son for causing her to even end up in this guardianship. He's been stealing from her, and he introduced her to someone that he wanted to steal from her too. He truly is his father's son, apparently. Then we're going to talk about Meghan Markle loving Timbits. Shout out to my fellow Canadians. Boss Lady, if you're watching the replay, shout out to you and my other Canadians as well. But she loves Timbits. Do you guys know what Timbits are? Have you guys ever visited Canada? Do you know what? Even if you haven't visited Canada, I kind of am curious how much you guys know about our famous foods. So Timbits being one, iced cappuccinos being another, or ice caps as we like to call it. What else do we have? We've got beaver tails. Of course, we've got the poutine. And I think we're the capital of shawarmas as well. Do y'all know about those things? Do you guys know about the works? I think that comes from New York though. But I am always just so happy when I see foreigners loving our foods, right? And it's it's not even really a food. It's technically just the little hole of a donut, but nonetheless, we're going to get into that. Amanda, the latest baby mama for Ryan Edwards of Teen Mom, just had their baby. It's a girl, and they did let us know what the name is. We're going to talk about that. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills former star Teddy Mellencamp has a series of brain tumors that she's currently battling against. Naya Rivera's son, what he remembers from that that fateful day that they went on the lake together and she unfortunately drowned. Guys, first of all, can you believe that it's been 5 years since that incident? Again, it feels like time just doesn't mean anything anymore because everything just all feels like it happened a year or two ago to me. We're also going to be talking about Ariana Grande. She did an interview with Variety magazine. It wasn't just her. Cynthia Erivo was there, directors, producers, everybody from Wicked was there as well on stage. And a producer kind of shook her arm, right? He was talking about a very exciting moment. He shook her arm to like express that excitement. And it seemed to have really caused some serious damage to her. I've got a video of that entire incident as well. We're also going to talk about David Eason's new girlfriend, Kenelle. Well, her name's Kenley, but I like to call her Kenelle. She's talking about everything like she feels about him. And, you know, she thinks he's a dangerous person, him shooting the dog, all sorts of things like that. Blake Lively has also filed to get access to Justin Baldoni's phone records. tWitch's family is filing a lawsuit against Allison Holker, his widow, who went and smeared his name in the name of promoting a book of hers. And what else do we have? Elizabeth Holmes, finally. Elizabeth Holmes is talking about why she had those kids as she was awaiting to go to prison. So stick around, y'all. We've got an awful lot to talk about. And if you're already enjoying the morning report so far, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. All right, y'all? So I'm loving seeing all the other people who are also board game fans. Good morning, Cammie. Allie's here. Rose is here as well. Jessica is here. Quake, Caroline, and so many more. Welcome, you guys. Why don't we start off with the first story, shall we? And I'm just noticing now that I actually didn't even put up those stories from David Eason's girlfriend. So I'm going to airdrop those to my computer now so that I can have them all prepped and ready for you guys. So let's get into Sean Diddy Combs. So he is suing NBC for a whopping $100 million because of a documentary that they put out about him. It's entitled Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. And he is saying that NBC, quote, maliciously accuses him of murdering the love of his life and the mother to his children. He is blasting NBC for that claim. And he's saying that he has a right to sue them because guess what? The LA County coroner confirmed that Kim's death was from natural causes and that there was no evidence of foul play. He's also upset that the documentary amplifies YouTube conspiracy theories. And he says that like they're just trying to build hype, right, off of all of the negative stories coming out about him. And he expected more from a trusted news source, right? And so the lawsuit also says that the documentary leans into allegations that Diddy had intercourse with minors and that he says that those claims are false based on a civil lawsuit from someone claiming to have seen him with 2 girls. He's also saying that the lawsuit was already discredited by the 2 women in their 30s who've come forward and said that they were adults at the time of that encounter. His attorney, Erica Wolf, has gone on the record to speak about the situation, saying, and I quote, "I'm making and broadcasting these falsehoods, among others. Defendants seek only to capitalize on the public's appetite for scandal without any regard for the truth and at the expense of Mr. Combs' right to a fair trial. Mr. Combs brings this lawsuit to hold defendants accountable for the extraordinary damage their reckless statements have caused." So I do have a question for you guys. Did you watch that documentary? Because I know that at this point, there have been quite a couple of documentaries that have come out about Diddy, but this one in particular is entitled Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. And so from what I've seen on the internet in terms of like the average opinion going around, although people really dislike Diddy and think that he is guilty of many things, I think I put one pillow too many. They are saying that, listen, at this point, it is true when it comes to the LA County coroner's thing, it was ruled just like a natural cause, right? So he does have a strong case here. But I feel like that's just one part of it, right? Even if that is in fact true, I think that other allegations that were brought forward can still kind of be credible, right? So I don't think that it was just some smear campaign the way that he is trying to make it seem. And I personally haven't watched this documentary, so I can't say the way that they presented it was wrong or anything like that. However, I imagine, right, and we all know for certain that a news agency as big as NBC News or NBC station in general, they have in-house lawyers who are tasked with looking over these sorts of things and making sure that what they're doing is not going to get them into legal trouble. So I highly, highly, highly doubt that they had a documentary in which, knowing the facts, which is that the LA coroner ruled Kim's passing a natural thing, I highly doubt that they would take that and allow for their clients to go ahead and create a documentary in which they claim that Diddy was the reason for it. Perhaps people, close to him or close to Kim, they went on the record and said that those were what they felt like. But I don't think that that's something that he can go ahead and sue NBC for directly. Okay, you guys. So there's that. Oh, and I did ask you guys a little bit earlier if you knew anything about Canadian snacks. So let me go back and see what y'all had to say about that. Okay, so you guys do know what Timbits are, about them being the little donut holes. They're so good. There's like a million different flavors of it and everything like that. Comfort food is what we're all about in Canada. East Awesome, is mustard a Canadian thing? Oh my God, you learn something new every day, right? I had no idea. So let me just say, it feels like Diddy, he feels like he's got nothing else to lose, right? And so he's just, and this is, I believe, the second lawsuit that he has levied from behind bars. So I think that he's just trying to do whatever he can at this point to scare people out of continuing to speak about him, out of continuing to sue him or to make allegations or anything like that. So at this point, I think that this is a lawsuit that NBC is most likely, they were already anticipating, and they created the documentary with that in mind in order to best protect themselves. So I don't think that Diddy's going to win this. By the way, good morning, Billy Dixon Productions. Ramsor, can anyone sue from prison? Yes, absolutely. And Diddy already has another lawsuit that he launched from prison as well. NBC says that the NBC documentary accused him of several red rums. I was very surprised they went down the red rum rabbit hole, but not really SA. Well, here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when I saw the previews or the trailers for it, was there not a woman who has been screaming from the rooftops for the past 3 decades that Diddy shot her in the face and he made Shine take the fall for it? Like, so if they featured her and this girl has the thing, the fragments in her face and the hospital records to prove it, and the police statements, right? Like proof that she made these statements all that time ago. Can he really sue over that? I don't think so. Shine even said that he took the fall, and she's not, a red rum victim, right? She survived, thank God. However, it shows that this person is capable of doing that sort of thing. She just had luck on her side, but it seems as though that was, a high potential, a high likelihood of her being a victim. And in addition to that, didn't he also get in trouble very early on in his career? He was organizing these parties. Apparently, there were really, really big parties, but he got a little bit too big for his britches. He started to ignore all of the safety codes. And so he overpacked a venue. And I think there was some sort of a crushing incident or something like that, where several people did actually end up losing their lives due to him not following the code. Right. So if these things have happened, right, and there's someone who almost was a red rum victim of Diddy's saying that that is the case, I don't know. I don't know that he can win this, y'all. I really don't. Right. East Awesome says anybody with money for lawyers can sue. It's your right in the USA. And that is one thing about y'all in the USA. Y'all love a good lawsuit. Y'all do not just take things lying down. It is going to go to court every single damn time. Okay. And it seems like, you know what, Jessica, I understand your perspective too, of waiting for the conviction before going back and really getting into these documentaries. I think that's interesting. Is that what's holding you back too, Ramster, from watching? Or is it just that you're not yet interested in the documents that have been put out yet? Good morning, AD. And yes, y'all, if you're enjoying the stream, please do make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'll Be Sure made me cry on the NBC documentary. I'll Be claimed his then ex-wife warned I'll Be about Diddy being And was that Star Jones? Wow. I'm really looking forward to watching it because I think that that's the documentary that Tisa Tells is also in. And, I really love her and her channel and everything that she does. So I really want to go ahead and support her work on that documentary as well. And you know what, DM, I think that that might actually be the the location, but I could have sworn that he was already working for some sort of a record label. Does anyone remember the details of that? But like that was the first big scandal that I heard involving P. Diddy. In fact, I actually do have a question for y'all. Do y'all remember the choreographer Lorianne Gibson? She worked with him on making the band and everything, and there was this huge, and this actually is the second major scandal I had heard attached to Diddy's name. So basically, she was the choreographer for making the band, and Diddy was always so aggressive with her and with everybody on camera, right? And then there was a moment that happened, and I guess they cut out the footage or something like that. But he got so damn pissed at her that he picked up a chair, and y'all know those metal chairs that they have in like gyms and dance studios and just anywhere in public, and he threw it at her. And that was a huge thing, right? So that's something that I've been wondering, like, has she spoken out yet against Diddy? Like, has anyone tried to reach out to her? Is that something I got to do? Go ahead, try to slip in them DMs and see how she's doing. And, if that's something that she wants to come forward with, because I do think that she was one of his first public victims. Do y'all remember that? I used to love making the band, and he did have a scary kind of presence. Everyone seemed terrified of him anytime he came around. So when that story broke, I was like, oh, I don't doubt this at all. Like, that man terrifies people and he seems to get off on it, right? East Awesome says, I'll be sure is Kim Porter's ex-husband. I'll be, what? You know what? I think there's something wrong with me. I'm thinking of the Al from the YouTube channel, Fox Soul. What's his name? It's not Al Roker, is it? No, that's the weatherman. Al something that was married to Star Jones. That's who I was thinking of. And yes, Albie has been speaking out an awful lot. And I do wonder if he's going to be involved in some capacity, as a witness or anything like that. Theo says, I remember Lorianne Gibson. She went on to work with Lady Gaga and other artists. Exactly. She was so damn talented at what it is that she did. She was the first choreographer that I had ever heard of, like going mainstream like that. It was her. Then after that, it was Robin Antin from the Pussycat Dolls. Like, I love what they did. Why is this not focusing? I love what they did for the dance. There you go. For the dance world. So, I really do hope that she feels comfortable at a certain point speaking out about her own experiences with Diddy, because Lord knows she went through it with that man. And she probably witnessed a lot of the stuff that went down with both Day 26 and, how are those girlies called? Danny D. Kane. And I can't believe that I'm even forgetting their names because I loved Danny D. Kane. Ronnie says, yes, and it was in the documentary about the people that passed at that event, and he tried to pay off family members. There you go. So I think even if they're just talking about those people and they can verify that it was because of him that they passed away, and people can actually say on the record that he tried to bribe them, I don't think he's got a case, y'all. A lot of people seem to think that he does, but I don't think so personally. Ramster says the reason that she's not yet watching is that she's waiting for the outcome too, but I do believe he's guilty of most of the things that he is accused of. There it is. I cannot watch quietly. What a screen name. I love it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Reach out to Miss Boomcat. Now, who is Miss Boomcat? Let me go ahead and star this, Jaleesa, because I don't know who Miss Boomcat is, y'all. Lord, now we're going to get into the next story, my friends. Wendy Williams. So TMZ's Tubi documentary has officially come out. And in that documentary, they showed an interview that they did with Wendy Williams. And we aired a part of that clip yesterday here on the channel. And now more has come out. And we find out that, yes, indeed, she was in this conservatorship because of her greedy ass, free-loading, no good son, Kevin Jr. I'll let her tell you for herself, okay, you guys? And then we're going to discuss it all on the flip side, okay? Here goes. So there you go. Her son was lying to her about the amount of money. So first of all, he said, I need 1,000 and something to rent a boat for a day, which, listen, reasonable, especially when you've got Wendy Williams money. But then it turned out that he wanted to spend $100K behind her back. And when confronted about it, he said that the bank said that he needed to spend $100K. You know, like, why would a bank try? Y'all didn't hear anything? Hang on. You know what I'm going to do? Sorry, you guys. Here, hang on. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you. You know, that's the thing about these audio things sometimes, you know, sometimes when you're live, things do not go as planned, but you know what? We do have our backup. So shout out to the backup plan. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. I guess StreamYard prefers it when you go ahead and share the stream. Happy Friday Eve to you too, Alyssa. I love that expression. Here we go. Thank you guys in the chat. Let me know, okay, if you're hearing it this time. Here goes.
To your money. Who is the person that was doing this?
My son is a good person, but at this point, he is a horrible person to me. And what's going on with these other people at my apartment in Miami? What are you doing? Oh, you spent on what? And what is going on at Wells Fargo?
There was a situation where...
There's still no sound, you guys? Okay, good. Thank you.
Kevin says he wanted to rent a boat for his birthday for $1,500 and ended up getting a boat that rented out for $113,000.
Jesus.
And he blamed it on the bank, that the bank wanted him to have that. That never really made sense to me.
Nor me.
Is Kevin right?
So there you go, you guys. Little Kev was playing around. He said, oh, my mom, she doesn't seem to be doing well. So why don't I, instead of trying to help her or to be there or support her as a good son would, why don't I take advantage of her? And then later on in the documentary, she also shared that little Kevin introduced her to a woman around her age that he would later use to try and get into her banking accounts. And that is when Wells Fargo went, oh, Wendy, the people around you got to be careful of that. And we don't know that we can trust, you know, the people around you. And so they had her sign some sort of document. And so it feels like she was taken advantage of by her son and his friend, right? Then she goes to the bank for help. What happens? It feels as though the bank, maybe they felt as though she wasn't very coherent when she was speaking with them or something like that. Or maybe they wanted to take advantage of her, because then they go ahead and make her sign this document that she assumed was a document saying that she did not give her son, you know, free reign access to her banking accounts or this random woman. But it turns out that the documents that she signed were documents to put herself into a conservatorship. How crazy is that? And again, I still do not understand why a conservatorship or guardianship, whatever, means that you do not have human rights anymore. Because to me, it feels like, okay, you're a vulnerable person and you need help, but that doesn't mean that you deserve to live the way in solitary confinement with no access to the outside world, the way that Wendy Williams was living. I feel like that part is still yet to be explained, right? And, you know, not only did she give her son so much, right? Why don't we remember too how hard it was for Wendy to even have a child? So can you imagine that? You go through miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. And then you finally, you know, you're on your last try to have a miracle baby. And you stay on bed rest for an entire 9-month pregnancy because, you know, your body, you have to fight against it in order to keep the pregnancy to full term. And you go through all of this pain, suffering just to have one miracle baby. And this is how it turns out. You know, that poor woman has been through it all in life. And it is just so damn sad to see what happened. Ramster says, shout out to all the people who want kids so they will, quote, take care. Exactly. What, you know, come on now. Come on. I just can't imagine. I find that to be so sad. Shem says it's up to the parents to make sure their parents grow up well-rounded. To make sure their children grow up well-rounded, even when they're wealthy, because this is crazy. Why isn't Kevin Jr.? Exactly. And you know what the scary part is, Shem? He just graduated from university. He was in school. I think he had some kind of either it was issues with the parents' divorce and the outside baby that caused him to drop out for a bit. But didn't he also have some sort of a rug addiction back in high school? There's always been a lot going on with him. And I'm so sad that this is what he did to his mom. He is responsible for this. And she had been trying so hard and for so long to protect him. But now after 3 years, which again, it's crazy to imagine that it's been 3 years of this, she is finally telling the truth about what exactly happened. By the way, she did sign some documents saying that she wanted this guardianship terminated. So it looks like maybe it might happen. But again, I'm skeptical. AD says that's what young rich kids do. They have no sense of money management and blow through money. This doesn't excuse Wells Fargo and these other wicked people trying to make Wendy seem like she's a veggie. Exactly, right? Because don't forget, in addition to wanting to rent a boat for $100,000 for one day, Kevin Jr. also spent $100,000 on 1 year's worth of Postmates or Uber Eats or whatever it is. The guy, he's just as bad as his dad. His dad was spending all of Wendy's money on his mistress and her failed businesses and all of these luxury cars. And he barely even survived a year without Wendy's money before the debt collectors came after him, before he was getting cars repossessed and whatnot. They are just such a mess. Anyway, come on now. Come on. I'm glad that she chose to use her platform. Listen, she doesn't officially have a show or social media anymore, but her platform is herself, right? Wendy Williams can call up Jimmy Fallon. Wendy Williams can call up The Breakfast Club. She can call up TMZ, all of these people, and speak up. And you know what I hope for Wendy when she's done with all of this? I hope that she becomes an advocate to help reform the system. For example, Paris Hilton, with all of the stuff that she had going on with Provost and everything like that, being abused as a child in boarding school. She has been spending years trying to fight against these systems, to reform them. She's been passing legislations. I would love to see Wendy dedicate her life to that. I know a lot of us would love to see her get back into the gossip and whatnot. However, I think that this is something that would also be rather interesting from her as well. And I think that this is something that could really, truly move the needle. Now, you know what, you guys, she did actually, speaking of the celebrity gossip and whatnot, she did actually get into some of her predictions for pop culture, and she wanted to share some of her thoughts and whatnot. So I want to go ahead and skip over to those parts as well. So she's going to talk a little bit more about her money, and then she's going to talk about what she's thinking about today's pop culture. And listen, we all love Wendy and what she's got to say about pop culture. So I'm sure this is going to be a great listen.
There were things happening with people that were around Kevin and Wendy's money too. Let's take a listen to that.
Somebody pretended to be me. And it wasn't anybody in my family. It happens to be a person that I was introduced by my son. And it's a woman approximately my age group. It's nobody from the family. Listen, this woman called on the phone pretending to be me. Red flag, Wells Fargo, red flag, red flag. And so red flag, thank God, they stopped all of the money that had been stolen from me by these people.
They don't got nobody else can score these things. What is this music?
Damn.
So Charlamagne is not happy with the music, but listen, I think there are more important things taking place in this conversation than just the background music. So let's go ahead and fast forward. So again, how creepy is it that her son met a woman around Wendy's age and decided, hey, I'm going to use this woman to sneak into my mom's account, and I'm going to introduce her to her mom. And you know why I think he introduced his mom to this woman? So that the woman could meet Wendy in person and get a feel for her voice in person and her mannerisms to try and replicate those for her attempt to steal Wendy's money on behalf of her no good son.
The Guardian is being so restrictive is that the Guardian took a lot of heat for allowing Wendy to do that Lifetime documentary when she was under the influence of alcohol, and the Guardian wasn't there to protect her when it was being filmed, and this is an overreaction to that.
I would be disappointed in that Guardian that she's punishing Wendy for her lack of oversight.
All of this happened under the watch of the Guardian, who is there to protect my aunt. When all of this comes out, the person at the center of this in terms of having the final say and the sign off is the Guardian. I don't think it takes a whole lot to put the pieces together here with that.
Oh, that was Alex? Alex?
Yeah, that was
Wendy's
Alex
niece?
Finney, yes.
Alex Finney.
So there's that. And now where's the last little section here? I wish I had TMZ's pure version of this because I do enjoy just being able to get straight to the point and not having to get all of the background stuff. But okay.
Yeah. Come on. To figure foresight to see a lot of these things.
Yeah, but
anyway, so listen, she went back and she talked about how Diddy's done and how she feels about J-Lo. So she says J-Lo's a beautiful woman, but she's lost in the love department, which I think is something that we've all been saying. But it feels nice to hear her voice. There's something just so familiar and comforting about Wendy's voice and just like her gravitas and everything like that. And so I am hoping that we get to see more of her in the future. Now, let's get into the Meghan Markle story. So this is just a little kind of like a little tidbit aside in order to lighten up the mood after two extremely heavy stories, right? So I don't know if you guys remember, but Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, has an Instagram account of her own now. And so I was looking through her stories yesterday. She and her husband, Prince Harry, they've been doing the Invictus Games. They've been running them over in Vancouver, Canada. And she just zipped back home in order to be back with the children while Harry is rounding up the, his engagements over there in Canada. And she was talking about bringing back some treats from Canada. And, as a Canadian, it makes me so happy. It's so damn exciting to see things that you recognize and you love so much from your childhood and your life, right? So she got some Timbits, which I thought were just absolutely adorable. It's a cute little box that she probably got at the airport on her way out. And again, we were talking about this earlier on in this stream, but Timbits are essentially just little donut holes. And so there's so many different flavors. There's like jelly flavor, chocolate flavor, sprinkle, birthday cake, you name it. Oh, I'm salivating. And you know what? Food is what always ties me to places, for me, London, when I think of London, I think of Jamaican food. When I think of Canada, I think of Tim Hortons, so it's it made me wonder, by the way, did Meghan Markle and Prince Harry get to try ice caps or ice cappuccinos? That's another really, really good thing that you can get at Tim Hortons. By the way, y'all, in London, you do have some Tim Hortons. And I think that in the US, you guys have some Tim Hortons as well. In fact, sadly enough, Tim Hortons was always a quintessentially Canadian brand, but it did sell out to an American company. So I think that now you guys should be able to get some Tim Hortons in certain states or cities or whatever in the US. So please think of me when you get to enjoy the sweet treat. Okay, back to the mess of it, y'all. Okay, you guys, we got to talk about Ryan Edwards. Okay, but actually, give me one quick second before we talk about Ryan Edwards, because there were some comments that I had bookmarked to get back to before I forgot. And so let me just go back to Boomcat. So Jaleesa was telling me to reach, and I was like, who's Boomcat? That's what Laurier and Gibson is going by now these days. All right, girl, Miss Boomcat, I'm going to reach out to you then and see how she's doing. Okay, so shout out to that. And then I did the bookmark your comment, Theo, as well, because I wanted to, highlight, it is true that she's done so much for him and she was risking her life and she was going through so much pain and trauma, everything, suffering time and time again, just to bring him to life, just for him to do this to her. It's just so damn disgusting. And I do agree, AD, that he was a really good advocate and everything. I just hope that he stays the course, because sometimes he gets into things that don't matter, Helmut says, my husband brought back these cucumber chips from Lay's when he went to Canada. That's so crazy. I've never tried them. We've always been known for ketchup chips and our dill pickle chips, but I have no idea. I'm gonna have to try those when I go. Come to Chicago. Chicago seems really amazing. I've actually, there are some places in the US that I've explored the majority of it, but there are some places that I haven't yet. Chicago is one that I want to. And for some reason, I'm drawn to Houston, Texas. And I really want to visit, I think that's it. Hawaii, but they said they don't want tourists, so I'm not going to go, but nonetheless. K-Car says it's interesting that they do this to Wendy, Brittany, and Amanda Bynes. Yet Kanye's out here running free. He's an actual threat, but he's a man, so it's fine. Exactly. And we never stop highlighting that here. And I thank you for bringing it up again, because the system is broken and the system is sexist. Tim Hortons is around, but not very popular. Oh yeah, you guys are Dunkin' Donuts people and Starbucks people. It must be Ben Affleck's influence. He's a Dunkin' Donuts baddie. There's Tim Hortons in Atlanta. Oh yes, guys, you gotta try it out. Okay, you guys, please, if you've got a Tim Hortons nearby, or if you stop by, and even Malaga, Spain actually has a Tim Hortons at the airport as well, so y'all gotta try it. It's really, really damn good. So, and I'm loving all the encouragement to visit Chicago and Houston. Listen, y'all, you know what, I gotta try. I will try, maybe next year or something like that. Okay, you guys. Let's get into the teen mom nonsense of it all. Ryan Edwards. So the last time we were speaking about him, what did we find out? We found out that the judge ordered him to pay his estranged wife, Mackenzie Standifer, about, what was it, $1,300 a month in child support for their 2 children. And we also found out that his fiance, Amanda Connor, was granted permission to be around the children that he shares with Mackenzie Standifer. Mind you, he only sees he and Mackenzie's kids about 26 days a year. So it's, in my opinion, not a huge deal, especially if she hasn't proven to, to be a threat to the kids or anything like that. And I don't think that he actively cheated on Mackenzie with Amanda either. Yeah, it is some form of weirdness that he is married and that he's got a fiance and that they just had a baby, but it's not like she stole him right out from under Mackenzie. And even still, wouldn't you be happy if a girl stole this man out from under you and he became her problem and not yours? Anyway, she gave birth to their baby. The news broke via People magazine, and the baby's name has been revealed. She is none other than Miss Presley Sage Eliana Edwards. I will say, I absolutely love the name Sage. And it's just been this special name for me ever since. So back when I lived in Canada, I had a P.O. box, and it was the sweetest thing. So I had this P.O. box because I wanted people to send me postcards from around the world. I was like, oh my God, I wonder where people were. Because at the time when I had just started on YouTube, it was such a weird concept that real people were watching my videos. I wasn't doing lives or anything like that. So it just felt too abstract to me. And I wanted are you guys sure? Can you send me a postcard or something, right? And so there was this girl, her name was Sage, and she has these siblings as well. And I think it was around this time, actually, so almost 10 years ago, back in 2016, or 2017, where she sends me for Valentine's Day, and it's so sweet, Grace, don't cry. She sent me these handwritten Valentine's cards from herself and her siblings. And she was like, I love watching your videos. And I got my siblings into watching your videos and stuff too. And I remember telling her in the video that I think that her name is so beautiful and so cool. And then it went so well with her last name. And then her siblings had these super cool names as well. So I've always, always, always loved the name Sage since then. Because, even before then, I have never heard of it as a name, so it's really cool, so good for them. Presley Sage Eliana Edwards. Now, I do have one thing I got to say, y'all, okay? I don't understand why the girlies keep on giving their kids the last name of these random men that knock them up, especially if they know that this random man that knocked them up has a track record of being a deadbeat. So Ryan was rarely there for Bentley. He missed the birth of one of his other kids with Mackenzie, and he only sees them 20 something days a year. Yet Bentley and those 2 kids have his last name and not their mother's last names. The women who gave birth to them and who raised them single-handedly, right? And now here comes the latest one talking about, oh, you know what? You're a deadbeat to your other 3 kids. Let me go ahead, have your kid and give it your last name so you could be a deadbeat too, to my kid too. I just don't get it. I don't. Cammy says, I still can't believe Ryan has 2 of each now. Bentley, Jagger, Stella, and baby girl number 2. You're right. He is a 2 boy, 2 girl dad. It makes me sad. Girls, why are we having babies for these men? I'm sorry, but the Ryan Edwardses of the world, we can do better. Collectively, we can do better. Come on. I'm just glad that Ryan got clean. I was worried he wouldn't make it. Well, that's true too, but is he really clean? Because he seems a little high to me on the show. I think he switched from heroining to something else. Poor baby girl. Listen, Ronnie, buckle up. Buckle up, everybody. They seem happy now, but they're both so damn volatile that it's scary. You know, and on top of that, this time, both of them are addicts. Macy was not an addict, right? Neither was Mackenzie. And now you've got him and Amanda. That's scary, right? And yes, Theo, it is so sweet. Oh gosh. And you know what? I still have all of those gifts as well. I'm going to bring them with me. I've been like bringing them slowly here with me since I moved here. And I remember one of the first things I brought with me, someone was from here in Europe. I think it was in Ireland. Like she had gotten me this like wooden keychain. And so I have it, you know, as my keychain. And I think it's just so sweet. So you're an OG if you remember that. Like, oh God, those were the days. Those were the times. Hamlet says the name Presley makes me think of parsley. No, not Paisley. Presley, but maybe you're saying that. Presley sage makes me think of a herd bouquet for a turkey. To me, Presley reminds me of Elvis Presley more so, but I see what you mean. She's hoping that Sage will sage the devil out of Ryan. Listen, she should have named her Sage, and then made up a last name for her of Sage if she wanted to sage that out of Ryan. We saw the state in which he left Mackenzie's house, right? Insane. And Eliana. You know what? I gotta say, overall, I'm really happy with the name that they chose, right? Like, it's a regular name. It's like a respectable name. They didn't try to like go as weird as possible, as edgy as possible. Like, it's a nice, normal name. So, you know, good for them on that. And you know what, Kate, that's a good question. Do y'all remember when rumors were floating around? Where did these rumors come from? I'm trying to remember, but there were rumors floating around for a little bit that Ryan Edwards had a secret child. And wasn't it supposed to be a daughter who was even older than Bentley is? Kate, wow, way to bring that out of the memories that you forgot you even had. Wow, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Listen, good luck to Ryan and good luck to Amanda. I will say that despite Amanda's past, very, very troubled past, she does seem like somebody who, even though she is still very rough around the edges, she does seem like somebody who is now in a different place in her life, right? Who is trying to be calm and who is trying to be stable. However, I don't know about Ryan. I'm not convinced when it comes to him. I think that he is just someone who, I don't know. I don't know. I'm nervous, y'all. I really, really am. You know, and I'm with you, Shemjem. Ladies, I think the kids should always have your last names. Okay? It's always the woman who does all most of the work. You know, not always. 99% of the times, the woman who does most of the work. You know, and it breaks my heart to see kids having last names by men who rarely even see them or who haven't even seen them. You know, so come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's get our last names back. People always go, but he's the dad, but she's the mom. And what? You know, Star says, Grace, I've been listening while getting my bikini wax. Love that for you, Star. Star's always listening from the most interesting places. Oh my God. I love that. Good morning to you too, SD. And good morning to everybody else who is just tuning in. Welcome to the Morning Report. We talk about the day's hottest topics every single weekday. That's Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you've been enjoying this episode, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you enjoy my content and you want to see more like it. We've got an awful lot more to come. Oh my God. We're 45 guys. This might be a 2-hour-long morning report, okay? Because we haven't even scratched the surface of what it is that we're going to talk about. We've still got the Teddy Mellencamp story. We've got to talk about Naya Rivera. Then it's David Eason and his new girlfriend, Blake Lively, filing to get access to all of Justin Baldoni's phone records. We've got tWitch's family filing a lawsuit, getting ready to file a lawsuit against his widow, Allison Holker. We've got to talk about Ariana Grande. You know what I'm going to do? And then we've got to talk about, what's her name? Elizabeth Holmes. Isn't it so crazy that she's got a People magazine spread and she's in prison. That's insane to me, but I digress. Why don't we talk about Ariana Grande? Then we go to commercial break, and then we finish out with the rest of everything. How does that feel for you guys? Because the Ariana Grande story makes me so sad, y'all. Here's a picture of her, you know? And I love that necklace. I know that necklace must have cost a couple $1 million. It's gorgeous. Or was it Swarovski crystal? I don't know. But it's gorgeous, okay? So she and her castmates and like the producers and directors from Wicked, they were all on the stage together talking about the making of the film, okay? And one of the producers, he gets very overzealous, talking about like, yay, you know, we did this, we did that. And so he grabs her arm to pull it with him, you know, and I'm setting the scene because I want you guys to look very closely, okay? So just be aware of what to look out for. Look at how quickly Cynthia Erivo jumps in to save Ariana's elbow when the man does that. And just how she tries to distract everybody from what just happened as Ariana's arm seems to almost give out. And then after this incident, they took a little bit of a break and then she left and she wasn't there to continue the rest of the panel. And so shout out to, I believe it was Reddit that I saw this on. Take a look, okay, you guys. I really hope that Ariana Grande is okay because she and Cynthia Erivo, they have been worrying a lot of people with their appearances since shooting this film. And this incident just, it's been worrying people even more. Take a look and we'll talk about it on the
He
flip.
would come on the set and go, today we get to do Popular. Can you believe that we're doing Popular today? It's going to be so great. That joy he wanted to infuse in every frame so that when you've experienced the film with all the tears and everything else, you feel the joy in every single frame. So I wanted to say that on his behalf.
Was that? First of all, I don't know why the guy had to grab her hand and then like, you know, shake her like that. But it felt like the effect of it was a little extreme. You know, I'm wondering, was it a funny bone that like hit the chair or something like that? Like what happened, right? And why was Cynthia so on edge from the very beginning? Perhaps Ariana already was having issues with her arm and like Cynthia knew about it. And so she was like, no, don't grab her arm or something. I don't know, but it's very, very weird. So what I'm going to try to do is, I wish I could cut out the audio of it actually as I play it, but I'm gonna, let me see what I could do. I'm gonna try and see if it's possible to talk in the background as I'm playing the video, okay? So let's go ahead.
He would come on the set and go, today we get to do Popular. Can you believe that we're doing Popular today? It's going to be so great. That joy he wanted to infuse in every frame so that when you experience the film with all the tears and everything else, you feel the joy in every single frame. So I wanted to say that on his behalf.
What happened there? It's really making me nervous for her. You know, it really feels like maybe after this Oscar award thing goes down that Ariana might need a little bit of a break. You know, perhaps she was overworked while she was filming Wicked. Now she is perhaps overworked as she is promoting Wicked and she needs a break. But I think that they need to go back, let her have some time to heal and to take care of herself. It seems like this was a really, really, really grueling filming and promotion schedule for both she and Cynthia. And it really shows in the two of them. And yeah, Cynthia kissed her hand. Like she was rushing so hard to try and cover it all up. But I feel like in doing that, she attracted a lot more attention to the situation, right? Because I think that if Cynthia wasn't doing the most the way that she just was, I think that people would have been like, oh, like when he shook her, like, you know, maybe it pinched her nerve or something, or it hit the edge, you know, when you get the funny bone and you're like, oh my God, and your hand goes tingly or something. It would have been that. But the way that Cynthia was like, oh my God, he picked up her hand. It's a very fragile hand, you know, when people are already concerned about Ariana's health, it just made it all look really concerning. right? And I agree with you too, Tiffany, that he didn't have to grab her, right? Like the whole situation was just putting 20 on 10. And when you put 20 on 10, you make things into a bigger deal than they actually are, right? Hamlet said, I bet it got broken due to the bone being fragile from nutrition. I don't know. I really hope that that's not the case. But like the fact that she didn't come back after that, they took a little bit of a pause and she didn't come back and they said that she was sick. Come on, y'all, you know? Anyway, thoughts and prayers to Ariana. I really hope she's doing okay. Listen, it could be anything. You know, a lot of people are suspecting that it's something to do with, you know, her eating habits. But, you know, maybe it's something even deeper than that. I don't know, right? Because, for example, another person whose eating habits have always been under the microscope is Teddy Mellencamp, right? And we're about to head out to break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about her. But Teddy Mellencamp, hang on, here she is. She has been battling cancer for a long time. She had skin cancer. Now she's got like tumors all over her brain and everything like that. So maybe it's something else. I don't know. But I really, really do wish her the best. This is just really, really sad and really scary. Senator Woman says, I do not like him grabbing her hand at all. It looks like he hurt her elbow. He was mistreating her. Cynthia didn't like how he was encroaching. Ariana has been grabbed inappropriately by ex-wives before. And you know what? I do think that that's a great point too. Do you guys remember when she was at Aretha Franklin's funeral and that guy, the bishop or something, like grabbed her and like, you know, had his hand a little too high. It was like he was groping the side of her boob or something like that. Like the poor girl really has been through it. So best luck to her, best wishes to her moving forward. Guys, give me a second. I'm going to fill up my water and we've got a word from some of our sponsors. And then on the flip side, we're going to talk about the rest of our stories. If you're enjoying the stream, please make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. Don't forget, we go live every single weekday at 10 a.m. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Ruthia. Ruthia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today. So there we are, you guys. I am teeing up the David Eason story because I forgot to send those images to myself a little bit earlier. But the next story that we had on our agenda was, in fact, about Teddy Mellencamp from formerly of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She announced on her Instagram that she had several brain tumors that she is currently battling. They shaved her hair and everything. And Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Kyle Richards actually popped by the hospital room to be there to support her. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they've actually been rooming together ever since they both started going through their divorces. So that was special. And it looks like Kyle's totally platonic friend, Morgan Wade, was also there to accompany her to the hospital as well. So best of luck, best wishes to Teddy Mellencamp moving forward. You know, it really, really sucks what's happened to her. I saw some photos in the People magazine article about it. Her whole back was already ravaged by skin cancer. And so now to have this stuff in your brain, like it feels like she really cannot catch a break. And, you know, I really feel for her. Let's get into the next story, which is Naya Rivera. Do you guys, again, time really just has no meaning. Time has stood still for the past several years because it's apparently been 5 years since Naya Rivera drowned when she was out on a boating and swimming trip with her son, Josie. And so now her ex-husband and the father of her son, Ryan Dorsey, is speaking out about and sharing their son's memories from that fateful day. So I will say, first of all, I'm kind of curious how you guys feel about Naya Rivera's ex sharing the son's thoughts or just memories from that day. I think that the public definitely is curious about it, but at the same time, I don't know if this is something that the son, in his older years would love to have out there for other people to think about or to remark on. But at the end of the day, it's his son. And I think they've hinted a lot in this article that he was having, money's not that great. He said that a lot of people reached out to him initially after Naya Rivera's passing, saying that they wanted to help get him some work as an actor so that he could be able to feed himself and his son and everything. But that those offers were kind of just like superficial offers. Nothing ever actually concrete came through. And so I do feel for him in that regard. So I think that this is one of those things. He also says a lot of people felt like, hey, perhaps with her passing, that people thought, oh, like she was this huge Hollywood actress, so you're going to have a lot of money for the son and everything like that. But that wasn't the case as well. So I do think that that was a motivation here, which, I can't judge. Another thing worth noting before we get into his comments and his interview with People Magazine is that he and his son, they moved from LA over to West Virginia, I think it is, just because of the cost of living being a little bit cheaper. So let's keep that in mind as we get into this story, shall we? And so, he told People Magazine, and I want to go through everything because it was a really, really touching piece. He says that he's never been one to talk about my life like this. I've turned down so many of these kind of things because it was too hard. I still can't really look at pictures of her, and it's still hard to talk, but I feel like I'm ready. There's just so much that happened. So the day that Naya Rivera died began without much fanfare for Dorsey. He had driven from LA to Big Bear Lake, California for a friend's birthday and was in a Ralph's supermarket when he got a call from Rivera's mom, Yolanda's husband, to tell him that Rivera was missing after taking Josie swimming. I instantly said, "What do you mean?" "She knows how to swim." He said, "They jumped in and Josie got back on and they're trying to find Naya. I collapsed into a pallet of drinks. I didn't know what to think, but I feared the worst." He immediately got into his car and sped the 145 miles to Lake Peru. I drove 100 and something the whole way with my 4-way hazards on, chain smoking cigarettes, and I don't even smoke really, and just crying. I wanted to get to Josie. Josie had been found asleep and alone on an adrift pontoon boat that Rivera had rented 3 hours earlier that day. If we'd have lost both Naya and Josie, I don't know how I would continue with my life. I don't know what I would have done, but I'm sure it wouldn't have been good. For 5 days, search and rescue divers looked for Rivera. It was the worst 5 days of my life, says Dorsey. There was a fear, what if we don't find her? It was just awful. The search concluded on July 13th when Rivera's body was found in a remote part of the lake. Dorsey says Josie has recalled more details of that day over time. He remembers that it was windy and describes being worried about getting into the water, but his mom told him, "Don't be silly." So when I initially heard that, right, that he said that the son was kind of against getting into the water and that Naya kind of like pushed to get into the water, I was like, oof. I feel like there are people who are going to go and run with it and just blame everything on her and just really, speak about her in a bad way. So that makes me really sad, like preemptively on her behalf as well. But I do think that he meant well, in sharing the story. He just wanted to be as open and as authentic and as open as possible. Okay. I'm seeing you guys talking about, so COVID really, truly changed the game. And like, it's just so hard to see, to realize how much time truly has been passing by. Okay. And so let me go ahead and put up some more photos of the two of them. These photos that they did together are absolutely beautiful. The last pictures I remember was the one picture that they used all the time of Naya and him. And so now to see how much he's grown has been really, really beautiful. After some time swimming, Rivera noticed the boat, which hadn't been equipped with an anchor or flotation devices, points that Dorsey included in the wrongful death lawsuit he filed on behalf of Josie against Ventura County that was settled in 2022, was drifting. So yeah, that's true. He did win a lawsuit about the lack of safety on the boat. She told Josie to swim back. He remembers grabbing the tanks and pulling himself around the boat, says Dorsey. The incident report said Rivera drowned after exhausting herself getting Josie back on the boat. He said that the last thing she said was his name, and then she went under, and he didn't see her anymore. Dorsey says, tears welling up in his eyes. It just rocks my world that he had to witness her last moments. And apparently their son Josie holds a lot of guilt, you guys. Quote, something he said over and over is that he was trying to find a life raft, and there was a rope, but there was a big spider on the rope, and he was too scared to throw it. I keep reassuring him, buddy, that rope wasn't going to be long enough. That obviously still sticks out in his head because he feels like he could have saved her. I think she just got caught up in a brush or that a weird undercurrent from the dam. It was just a freak occurrence. Apparently, her ex dropped 40 pounds due to the stress of Rivera's death. And he also can't help but think that if he'd been there, he could have done something to change the outcome that day. I probably would have jumped in, and I like to think I would have saved the day. But on the other hand, I think maybe something bad could have happened to both of us. I don't know. After Rivera's funeral, Dorsey took Josie back to his home state of West Virginia to get away from paparazzi. When they returned to LA, Rivera's younger sister, Nicaila, 30, moved in with them for about a year. She was such a big help. I had to go to Vancouver for 5 months, and Josie came the last month to stay with me. But during the time I was gone, she held it down and kept that consistency. It was very surreal sometimes because the way she would say things to Josie would sound like his mom. And so he also shares a little bit of how it is that he even met Naya Rivera. And so basically they were at some sort of an event together in 2010. And Naya Rivera's co-star Heather Morris approached Ryan and told him that my friend thinks you're cute, go talk to her. And so he was a little bit too shy to actually go up and talk to Naya Rivera. And so Naya eventually came up and, spoke to him, and it all went from there. They had a very on and off again relationship. Eventually she left him for Big Sean. They got engaged, but then that relationship did not pan out. So she went back to him. They felt like it was right. So they went ahead and got married on his birthday, which actually just so happens to be the date that was supposed to be her wedding date with Big Sean as well. So it was a really, really whirlwind thing. She had filed for divorce from him twice. She had been charged with DV for allegedly shoving him or slapping him or something like that. It's a very, very, short but intense love affair. They were thinking of leaving LA in order to go and live in Maui as well and to have a second child. It's a lot that they went through, you guys. It really, really is. So again, rest in peace, Naya Rivera. Just the whole story is so, so terrifying. Drowning has to be one of the worst ways to pass away, especially in front of your child. That must have been just so shocking and traumatic for the both of them. I'm sure she did not expect for that to happen when she went out there. She was an experienced swimmer, and I'm so happy that they taught their son to swim. I think that that's also something that's really important, is teaching your children how to swim. It is a survival skill that they need. I personally do not have it. I've been trying, but I'm so petrified of deep waters and stuff, but it really is something that you have to learn, or to pass on at least to your children. So again, rest in peace, Naya Rivera. And I think that it's really beautiful that he has shared what he's been going through these past 5 years. And I feel terrible that their son feels guilty for being too scared of the spider on the rope to toss her the rope and stuff. And I love that he reassured his son by saying, listen, it probably wasn't long enough or something like that. And you know what? I think he might have even fallen in if he tried to, do the rope and was distracted. He was such a baby, when a little baby, when all of that went down, right? So anyway, that story is just still so haunting. The cast of Glee, and I do have a TikTok account, and back when I was making TikTok videos, which I do have to get back into, but the cast of Glee reminds me of the cast of the Power Rangers in that there's just so many traumatic things that happen to them. There's passings and mysterious things like that happen to them, similar to the cast of Power Rangers. And it's so scary. The Glee curse is real. So let's move into the next story. David Eason. Okay, the former teen mom to deadbeat husband, dad, whatever. His new girlfriend, Kenelle, is speaking up about her relationship with him. Okay, so I emailed myself the photos so we can go over them here. What she had to say in her Ask Me Anything on Instagram. Somebody's asked her, do you think your boyfriend and his ex, Janelle, can ever be civil and co-parent? Would you like to meet his kids? She said that she would hope so on both of those. Well, listen. Okay, one situation, you can tell a girl, oh, my one ex, like we don't get along, she's crazy or whatever. But when you have multiple children and she's not able to meet any of them because you do not have any custody of any of these children, doesn't he have 3 kids? Like, how is that not a red flag to this girl? Like, imagine being this damn desperate, right? Someone asked, do you see a future with David? To which she responded, yes. And then was also asked, do you want kids? And by the way, you look great, girl. She said, I could see myself having a kid under the right circumstances only. But at this time, no. Halo and maybe a border here and there is enough for me right now. And to me, like, she seems like a responsible person. Like, you know, she's abstained from having other, you know, guys' kids, and she's really trying to plan it and everything. So how is it that someone who is seemingly so responsible, and she's young, she's got her home, she's got cars, she's got a business, like she seems to have it all going on. How did she end up with a David Eason? That's what I don't understand, because I think that she's far too good for him, right? But I digress. Then someone else asked her, what did they ask her? David has looked so bad in media when with Janelle. Now that he's with you, he seems normal and not crazy. To which she responded, everyone has done something crazy in their life under certain circumstances. I believe people can move forward in their life trying to make better decisions. And I don't think he's crazy. Well, for now, right? For now, like I always say, ladies, we are not special. We're not going to change people like David Eason from being just violent, terrible, terrible, terrible people. Like, if he will not get it right for his own kids, what makes you think that he will get it right for a random girlfriend, right? Someone else said, no question, just wanted to say you rock with all the ish talk extra on the internet, you hold your ground. And so she posted a selfie at the gym saying, thank you. I tell David all the time he picked a good girlfriend to handle getting bullied online. Listen, Janelle used to look like this too when she got with David, is all I'm going to say on that. Okay. Look at the way that man and the stress of being with him just took its toll on her. Someone else asked, what are your honest thoughts and feelings about him offing Nugget? So now this is where things get interesting. She responds, I don't agree with it, but I also wasn't there to witness the circumstances. And I also don't have kids and don't understand the protective instincts that come with having children. I do know that children need to be taught how to be around dogs. Unfortunately, people don't always understand that. But again, I wasn't there. So it seems like she has already settled into her role as the person who needs to make excuses for David. And you know what? For as long as you're with him, you are going to have to take on that role. And I just don't get it. Why be with somebody when you always, always, always have to make excuses for their terrible behavior? Like, it seems like she seems like a smart girl, a level-headed girl. Like, even in her response there, you know, she wasn't like 100% behind him. She's also saying, like, listen, maybe he or Janelle failed in not educating their daughter how to be around the dog, right? But I still think that any answer that is not, it was completely inappropriate what he did, that dog could have been rehomed if he really felt like it was a danger, is just unacceptable to me personally. There was literally no reason for David to delete that dog. Ramster says, seems like Dave, the dog killing professional unemployed deadbeat, has a type. Yup, she looks just like Janelle. And again, Janelle used to be really, really fit when she got with David because she was hot off her relationship with Nathan. She always bounced back from pregnancies and whatnot. And then when she got with Nathan, she really actually became muscular and stuff because he was into the gym all the time. And like, she wanted to be everywhere with him, right? So she was in the gym too. And then when she got with David, like it was a lot for her. Rose says, I remember sharing a closer relationship with my distant cousins after my aunt passed. I'm sorry for your aunt's passing. And I hope that you guys are still able to maintain a close relationship. DM says, love when you say David is rehomed. Isn't he though? I still just do not get it. Girls, come on. If your man does not have a job, like, listen, people can lose jobs and whatnot, but why go out of your way to get with a man who doesn't have a job? It makes no sense to me. David seems like a KKK member, and he is proud of it. That man used to harass me on the daily on Twitter. He got banned from Twitter like 5 times, and he would continue to make different accounts to harass me in that way. And it was really, really just insane, the things that he was tweeting. And it was definitely in line with KKK type stuff. He's a loser through and through. And I will never see it for him. Now let's get into Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I do have a little quick update for you guys on this. So I did do a standalone video about how she and her team are asking for extensions on certain dates that they agreed to prior in terms of her proceedings with Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni's team, they were shady. They said, even though you guys are trying to deny us from having our extensions, we will accept yours, and we'll also like to re-push for our own extensions as well. The judge only allowed some partial extensions that she and her team were asking for. And now she has also filed off a legal demand to get some access to Justin Baldoni's phone records. So they sent subpoenas to 3 different phone carriers, including AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. And those are to access not only his phone records, but his publicist Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan. It ends with us producer Jamie Heath, crisis manager Jed Wallace, and Steve Sarowitz, and the co-founder of Wayfarer Studios, who is Steve Sarowitz. So just a little bit of an FYI. So remember, when she filed her initial complaint, there was some language in there allegedly from Justin and his team, or his team was saying that they know how to destroy and bury people. And so she wants to have the full records of that, because Justin's team has come out and said that she was kind of like manipulating some of the data and whatnot. And so there's that. And now we got to get into the Twitch story. Listen, y'all, I did also want to get into Elizabeth Holmes initially, but it's 5 o'clock here. And I told my friends to come after work, and they finish work at 6, and I haven't started on the food. So I do have to end on the Twitch story. Okay, so we're not going to have the bonus, but I think we'll be able to potentially do the Elizabeth Holmes story tomorrow. Okay, you guys? But Twitch's family is fighting back against his widow, Allison Holker, who wrote a book. And in the book, she accused him of having a rug addiction. She accused him of being an alcoholic. And she claimed that he had kept a secret from everybody in his life, alleging that he was a victim of CSA. And she said that even she didn't know it before she read his journals. And so, of course, his family is extremely pissed off at her over that. And now they're asking for you guys' help in the form of GoFundMe donations in order to sue her, right? They want legal fees and related costs in order to go up against Allison. And I really wanted to know how y'all felt about this. They're saying that she's lying. Everything she says is a lie, especially the substance abuse that she's alleging, because the coroner's report said that his system was completely clean, right? And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up with what she's saying. She's saying in his last days, he was constantly in the little back house, the pool house that they had, doing rugs and drinking himself silly, yet he was clean as a whistle. So they're saying, no, that's not true. They're also saying that the CSA stuff that she is alleging is untrue as well. And so they really want to sue the pants off of her. And I want to know how y'all feel about them launching a GoFundMe to do it, right? Because personally, I see them wanting to sue her, and I get it and I support it. But I kind of feel like asking the public, they have the right to, obviously, but I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like people are always just asking people to pay for everything on GoFundMe's, and I don't know. I got to be honest with you. What she did was terrible, but it's out there and it's permanent. And they've done their part, which is to dispute her claims. And the public overwhelmingly is disgusted by what it is that Allison Holker said and has boycotted her book and just does not want anything to do with it. His friends, everybody has spoken out against her, and again, he has unfortunately passed away. So what's left? What's there that's left to do? You know what I mean? So you sue her, then what? The world already doesn't believe her. The world already says, even if any of that is true, especially the CSA, it's not her place. They don't like it. It did not, in my opinion, truly tarnish his legacy, because he was such a good person that everybody immediately went to bat for him, even people who do not know him. So I don't understand why they need to go to this part. Like, is it to block, they can't block the book from being published because the book is already out. So where would this money go? So say they sue her and they win money. Where does this money go? Right? Because she's the one who has the kids full time. She has blocked their access to the kids. So we can't even say, oh, we're suing her and giving the money to the kids. You know what I mean? I don't know. I personally do not get it. I feel like if you want to sue her, go ahead, and I support that, but with your own money. Don't come asking me for money, right? I'm just curious. Hi, Caroline. Nice to see you. We were talking about Canada a little bit earlier and some of our sweet treats that I wanted our friends from the US and around the world to try out, like the Timbits, the ice caps, and all those things. And you know what? My stomach is currently rumbling for a poutine as well. Or a shawarma. Or a shawarma poutine, even better. Or a jerk chicken poutine. Oh my God, I'm hungry. Rose says she's already been exposed for adjusting text messages. So that is in regards to Blake Lively. And so now with a subpoena and everything like that, they really want to make sure they have everything black and white from the very, very, very beginning. So listen, AD, a lot of people feel the same way. Like, she lost with what she did. She lost. She did not win any support, any favor, anything. So I just do not get it at this point. Elle says, I think she's super shady and honestly gross for putting, exactly. This is how everybody feels. So what is the lawsuit going to do? And the book is out. So it's not like they're suing to stop the publication of it or anything like that. Right. And I agree with you too, Allie. They have the right to ask. But for me personally, it's a no. It's a no, unfortunately, although I do support their cause. Okay, you guys, can't they call out? Listen, Ellen is canceled and she's run away to England as well. So there's nothing she can do. However, they were on Gayle King show on CBS. So they do have that visibility as well, right? So they've got their side out. She's gotten her side out. And that's just that. And at the end of the day, even if they sue her and she turns over the journals, now what? She's saying she got this in the journals and then she had her own personal account. I think that lawsuits bring everything out into the forefront again, and they're dragged out for extended periods of times, which would just make it an even bigger issue at the end of the day, especially if she were to win. But I digress. Y'all, listen, I got to run to pick up. I got to pick up some snacks and stuff and some food. For those of you who just joined, I'm hosting a board game night here at my apartment. We are going to be playing La Casa de Papel with my friends today, and I got to prepare some food. They're coming right after work, and it's 5:17, which means I got to get a move on. Luckily, the place is already organized and clean. I just need to go grab some food. Thank y'all so much for joining. And again, if this is your first time ever popping in for the morning report, welcome. I hope you had a great time. We go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest stories, okay? And so stay tuned. Tomorrow's episode is already programmed. Head over to my channel in the live tab and click the bell so you'll be notified when we go live tomorrow, and even for all the episodes already programmed for next week as well. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care, you guys. Bye.